everyone, my name is Riley. Thank you for joining me again this week. For my long-term subscribers, y'all rock. For anybody new to this channel, thank you for checking us out. And if you know anything about me and what I love in my reptiles, you know that I love carpet pythons. And within carpet pythons, my arguably top favorite group of animals would be the animals formerly known as IJs, West Papuan carpets. So let's take a look at probably my favorite group within carpet pythons. Alright, so this individual here is from a line referred to as the Tiger IJ line. And this individual came to me by way of Eric Burke, known for great striping, lots of orange and burnt yellow colors there down the side, and everything that you could really want in a nice striped IJ or Papuan carpet. Now before we go further, I just want to discuss that name variation there. You'll hear both names used to describe these animals, and they're just synonymous terms for the same animal. They used to be referred to as IJs across the board, and still oftentimes are. However, the more accurate terminology for where they're from is Papua, West Papua in specific, so Papua New Guinea, so you'll hear me refer to these as West Papuans. Now, obviously that means these guys are not found in Australia. They're found on that little island north of Australia, Papua New Guinea. Typically, we are finding animals from the southern coast range, and that's where a lot of our imports are coming in. In fact, these are the only carpet pythons that you can still import for now, but that is likely going to change soon with the way the world has been going. So, these beautiful animals are all still, very new and novel, and there's a lot of selective breeding going on, which makes them way cooler longevity-wise than doing something with morphs. Takes a lot more skill, vision, and patience to do that. So this is just one example of them, however. So I wanted to do this video to show off just how diverse they can be and why they're so important to folks like me who don't consider them just a normal brown snake you find everywhere, and why to me this animal is worth more than the most expensive morph in carpets out there. Alright, so this is another IJ or West Papuan carpet. This individual looks a little bit different than the last one in color tone and pattern. There's some more grays and speckling going on. Very distinct head pattern on this individual. A lot lighter in color overall, and this one came to me by way of my good friend Jacob Bratz. Obviously, there's a lot of natural variation in these animals, and so when you start pairing them, you start seeing variation in the offspring, and you start getting animals from other people's collections, and you can start to see these differences. Now, typically Papuans are very chill. That being said, this guy has a history for making me look like a fool in that regard. I even have some head exanthic animals that I will not be pulling out today because they do not like me. But yeah, there are some actual morphs in carpets, or in IJs rather, or Papuans, whatever you want to call them. But if you're like me, the selective breeding potential is more exciting. That being said, I do have a granite, so let's take a look at her, and we'll look at one of those cool morphs. Ooh, easy killer. So there's a lot to be said for the value of morphs. Obviously, more variety means more animals and more cool things to work with. But morphs really kind of had a negative impact on Papuans when this granite mutation first came out. This is a highly outcrossed granite from Nick Mutton. It's a recessive gene that makes everything all wacky and busy and crazy and looking different. So here's a close look on what this granite mutation does. When it first came out, things were heavily inbred and there were a lot of issues, and then it was widely regarded as having fertility issues in females, and people were mixing them with other stuff and doing morph projects, and then IJs or Papuans kind of fell off as just the little brown snakes with only a few morphs that weren't necessarily worth your time. And folks like Nick Mutton, who have really pioneered the outcrossing of this mutation to strengthen it again, and Eric Burke, who've really collected a lot of animals and shown what the potential is for line breeding and making different looks, these are starting to get much more attention, which is good because you can still import them. So we should really do what we can to preserve these and do a lot of selective breeding and explore them and appreciate them while we still have access to fresh blood. Eventually that door will probably close. So I think people are starting to get the hang of appreciating localities and rarer stuff these days. And I don't think we've seen the ceiling for which these will grow to in popularity. So, but I didn't really want to focus on morphs on this one. So I just wanted to mention that there are a couple morphs in IJs and Papuans. But that's really not what you should focus on, at least to begin with. In my opinion, if you're going to love a species, you should love the natural wild type before you start playing with other things like that. So now I wanted to show you some of those farm hatched imports to show you just how variable these things can be. Alright, so this is a female that I don't think I've shown off in video before. A while back I did a video showing off all of my carpets, or excuse me, all of my Papuans, and this girl and another one didn't make that video just because I have so many, I forgot. So this is what is labeled as a farm hatched animal, whose parents are wild caught, kept at a farm in Indonesia where they're bred, and the babies are brought into the country through importers. And this individual came through Dan Malaria of DM Exotics, and just a wonderful, wonderful snake. Lots of cool color, fish netting going on, very mustard, orange, burnt looking, just totally different. Very unique snake. And typical good placid disposition. This is like a 3-year-old snake right now. So, but these things are just highly variable. I've got 2 animals from that group that came in, and they're similar but different. They have slightly different color tones, and I just can't get enough of them. I mean, you really can't have enough, because you can start going selective breeding for this burnt orange color. You can do striping, the great markings up top. You can go for real dark projects. So there's a lot of potential. Speaking of dark projects, I do happen to have a few animals that just natural wild type are darker than the rest. Obviously that means I'm looking for making some dark animals. These animals will be for later on making some more colorful animals. So before we get into the dark stuff, let me show you the first step of some of my higher colored animals that I've produced, and sort of the look that I'm looking to accentuate further. One thing that people find really fascinating about Papuan carpets is that they hatch out pretty red. And this right here is an animal I've dubbed Red Man, because when he hatched out, he was the reddest of the bunch, cherry tomato, amazing colors. They get darker over time, but he's still really carrying a lot of that nice orange. And another interesting thing about these pythons from Papua New Guinea is, unlike other carpets, these guys tend to change color a little bit. It's almost like a mood fluctuation similar to what chameleons do. Like, they have a resting color, they have a fired up color, they just change. And they're unbelievable snakes. White speckly bellies, lots of good contrast. This guy's mellowed out nicely. He was not very friendly when he hatched, and for the first year or so he just really hasn't been too keen, but this time of year everybody's a little slowed down, so that explains why I'm probably not getting chewed on like I expected. But this is Red Man, and I like to think that if I were to pair him with some of that wild caught blood we just looked at, or the farm hatch blood for those nice colors, that we can take it a step further and make some more orange caramel animals that just natural wild type have a lot of good expressive color and contrast. So that's one direction that I'm going with some of these animals. But I do have another direction, kind of the opposite, that I would like to show you to kind of give you a full run of the spectrum, because they come in all sorts of colors. So what we're seeing, some nice oranges, nice brighter colors. Let me see if I can get that. It's a little better. But anyway, now I wanted to take a step into the dark side and show you the other end of the spectrum because I like the dark stuff a lot. Okay, so this is a really dark 5-year-old adult female, produced by Emily Stoddard, and slow grown, raised, small, slow and steady, has retained good small size that these are also known for, but is really dark. And I've named her Autumn. She's, like, when she's on point, she's real dark, like really dark, even darker than this. This is her kind of like warmed up and fired up. So, but it's amazing how dark they can be. I mean, look at, her head is just really, really dark. Her nose, her eyes, everything's really dark. So she has this overall very dark complexion that I absolutely love. And so I'm pairing her with a half sibling who comes from same dad, different mom, same sire, different dam. And so it's not super outcrossed, but I'm not, going multiple generations in yet. So it's not really an issue. And the idea is to make more dark animals and really take that a step further, hold back the darkest animals, and keep going, so on and so forth. So with any luck, this girl will give me a clutch this season. She's in with the male. They've locked once or twice. I'm hoping more will come. So with any luck, we'll really take these dark animals to the next level here. But if you really want to talk dark animals, you really need to look up what Eric Burke's doing with his poison ivy stuff. That's just a whole nother level. But anyway, there's something for everybody with Papuan carpets. Manageable size, typically good demeanor. You can get high color, high contrast, or you can go real dark. But anyway, as if I need to explain it any further, I love my carpet pythons, but I don't know, these guys might take the cake. Papuans might be my favorite, so just thought I'd take the time to kind of speak on these guys. They used to be considered brown dirt snakes, valueless, and now I think the world's starting to appreciate these things for what they are. So hopefully within the coming years we'll see a lot more enthusiasm for these and keep on riding up that ladder, because these things are probably the ideal pet snake. Active, gentle, good eaters, tough, hardy animals, not too big, not too small, and color-wise, there's something for everyone. So, but then again, if you're here watching me talk about carpet pythons, you probably already know that. So anyway, that's all I wanted to do this week, was just show off my small, diverse group of these dark beauties. Kind of share the love a little bit, and yeah, remind you that carpets are probably the best pet snake out there, and you all need some in your collection. Anyway, I'll catch y'all next week. Have a great holiday. Cheers.